Another line.
So, third canto, third chapter, text 28. And we will start with the Sanskrit words. Anam,
Anam,
Cha,
Cha,
Ururasam,
Urasam,
Tebya,
Tebya,
Datva,
Datva,
Bhagavat Arpanam,
Bhagavat Arpanam,
Go,
Go,
Vipra,
Vipra,
Artha,
Artha,
Asava,
Asava,
Shuraha,
Shuraha,
Pravemuhu,
Panemu,
Bhuvi,
Bhuvi,
Murdabihi,
Murdabi,
Anam Chorurasam Tebyo,
Anam Chohu Samtebyo,
Tatva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Goviprartasava Sura,
Go Viparta Savasura,
Pranemur Bhuvi Murdabihi,
Pranimur Bhuvi Mordabi,
Anam Chorurasam Tebyo,
Anam Chohu Samtebyo,
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Goviprartasava Sura,
Go Viparta Savasura,
Pranemur Bhuvi Murdabihi,
Pranimur Bhuvi Mordabi, Anam Chohu Samtebyo,
Anam
Anam
Samtevyo
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Daya Bhagavadapanam
Go Viparta Savasura,
Vipata Savashuha
Pranimur Bhuvi Mordhabi,
Anemu Vimudabihi Anam Choga Samtevyo
Anam Chohu Samtebyo,
Tattva Bhagavadapanam
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Vipata Savashuha
Go Viparta Savasura,
Anemu Vimudabihi
Pranimur Bhuvi Mordhabi,
Anam Chorura Samtebyo
Anam Choga Samtevyo
Samtebyo,
Tattva Bhagavat Arpanam
Datva Bhagavat Arpanam,
Govi Prartha Savashura
Go Viparta Savasura,
Pranemur Bhuvi Murdabi
Pranimur Bhuvi Mordhabi.
Okay, let's do the words. Anam,
Anam,
foodstuff.
foodstuff.
Cha,
Cha, also.
Urasam,
Urasam,
very delicious.
really delicious.
Tebya,
Tevya,
unto the Brahmanas.
unto the Brahmins.
Datva,
Datva,
after supplying.
after supplying.
Bhagavat Arpanam,
Bhagavat Arpanam,
which was first offered to the personality of Godhead.
which was first offered to the personality of Godhead.
Go,
Oh,
cows,
goes.
Vipra,
Vipra,
Brahmanas,
Brahmanas
Artha,
Artha,
purpose,
purpose.
Asava,
Asava,
purpose of living.
purpose of living.
Shura,
Shura
all the valiant Kshatriyas.
All the valiant Kshatriyas.
Pranemu,
Pranemu,
offered obeisances.
offered obeisances.
Bhuvi,
Bhuvi,
touching the ground.
touching the ground.
Murdabhi,
Mordhabi,
with their heads.
with their heads.
Translation. Thereafter, they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs first offered to the personality of Godhead, and offered their respectful obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas. Purport. The behavior exhibited by the descendants of Yadu in the pilgrimage site of Prabhasa was highly cultured and exactly to the point of human perfection. The perfection of human life is attained by following three principles of civilization: protecting the cows, maintaining the Brahminical culture, and above all, becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Without becoming a devotee of the Lord, one cannot perfect one's human life. The perfection of human life is to be elevated to the spiritual world, where there is no birth, no death, no disease, and no old age. That is the highest perfectional aim of human life. Without this aim, any amount of material advancement in so-called comforts can only bring the defeat of the human form of life. Brahmanas and Vaishnavas do not accept any foodstuff which is not first offered to the personality of Godhead. Foodstuff offered to the Lord is accepted by the devotees as the mercy of the Lord. After all, the Lord supplies all kinds of foodstuff, both to the human being and to other animals. A human being must be conscious of the fact that all foodstuffs, namely grains, vegetables, milk, water, and so on, the prime necessities of life, are supplied for mankind by the Lord, and such foodstuffs cannot be manufactured by any scientist or materialist in a laboratory or factory established by human effort. The intelligent class of men are called Brahmanas, and those who have realized the absolute truth in his supreme personal feature are called Vaishnavas. But both of them accept foodstuffs which are the remnants of sacrifice. Sacrifice is ultimately meant to satisfy the Yajna-purusha, Vishnu. In Bhagavad Gita 3.13, it is said that one who accepts foodstuffs as the remnants of sacrifice is freed from all sinful reactions, and one who cooks foodstuffs for maintenance of his body takes in all kinds of sins which lead only to suffering. The foodstuffs prepared by the Yadus at the Prabhasa pilgrimage site to offer to the bona fide Brahmanas, they were all offered to the personality of Godhead Vishnu. The Yadus offered their sincere obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. The Yadus, or any enlightened family in Vedic culture, are trained for attainment of human perfection by total cooperation of service between the different divisions of social orders. The word Ururasam is also significant here. Hundreds of delicacies can be prepared simply by the combination of grains, vegetables, and milk. All such preparations are in the mode of goodness and therefore may be offered to the personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, the Lord accepts only foodstuffs which are within the range of fruits, flowers, leaves, and liquids, provided they are offered in complete devotional service. Devotional service is the only criterion for a bona fide offering to the Lord. The Lord assures that he positively eats such foodstuffs offered by the devotees. So, judging from all sides, the Yadus were perfectly trained, civilized persons, and their being cursed by the Brahmana sages was only by the desire of the Lord. The whole incident was a warning to all concerned that no one should behave lightly with Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasketya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are here reading from the third canto, third chapter, text 28 of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is called The Lord's Pastimes out of Vrindavan, and this is the last text of this chapter. And it has many beautiful points, So Srila Prabhupada begins here with the perfection of human life. So that's like the crown jewel that Srila Prabhupada is bringing us. The perfection of human life. Like most of us do not even ask by themselves, like, what's the perfection of human life? But it seems like after associating with Prabhupada, that's like the only thing we should be interested in. And Prabhupada offers here the definition of the perfection of human life. It is to be elevated to the spiritual world where there is no birth, no death, no disease, and no old age. And also in the second canto, there are Shukadev Goswami says in the beginning of the second canto that the highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. So there are many ways, processes, at least a few processes, how to achieve the highest perfection of human life. We can achieve that by cultivating knowledge, by Sankhya. So by learning to distinguish between matter and spirit. So to understand and realize who we are as the spirit soul and who we are not as the material nature, as matter, as the modes of the material nature. So that's the understanding where we are and what's the goal. Shukadeva Goswami also says, what's the goal? It's Ante Narayana Smrtihi. Remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. And the best chance to remember the personality of Godhead is to become a devotee of the Lord, because the devotee is 24/7 absorbed in the thought of the Lord, trying to please the Lord, offer the Lord sacrifice, as we see the Yadus doing here in this part of the Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada is giving us all like the understanding where we are, the understanding what's the goal. The goal is not just to remember the personality of God at the end of life. It's like remember the Supreme Personality of God always. And then we have a good chance to remember him at the end of life. And also we are getting the how, we are getting the process. And the main part, main sub, or I wouldn't call it sub process, but the main main activity of this process is chanting of the holy names given by Lord Chaitanya, especially for this age of quarrels. Like in this age, like it's very difficult to do anything else. Like we can see in this text that the Yadus did not just offer some food. They did not go into some discount store to buy some stuff so they can throw it into the fire cheaply. They offered the most delicious food stuff, the best food stuff that they had. So that's the real sacrifice, and that's the real devotion. So as in this age we don't have many qualities of the diamond shining right now, so we can at least participate in singing the holy names of the Lord. And yes, and we can understand the perfection of human life from many angles. Prabhupada also describes it from many angles. Like the basis seems to be to come to the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, we can distinguish between what's real and what's false, and we can come to the stage of self-realization, not necessarily the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but at least we understand the self as an eternal spirit spark, and then we can progress. We can progress towards the real, the highest perfection is to serve the Supreme Person as Vaishnavas, and not just stay on the level of Brahmanas, as Prabhupada is making the distinction here. Yes, and I mentioned the main process, chanting the holy names of the Lord, and there is second most important process, or like the other very important supportive process, and that's offering of food as a part of offering sacrifice, because food is part of our life. Every one of us engages with food daily, in my case, many times a day, and then I tend to get sick, like yesterday. So today I was eating less. So yeah, so we can use this function of the human body to spiritually progress, to make some real progress. So here the Yadus, they engage in charity. They give as virtuous Kshatriyas. They give many things, not just food, as you were reading in the previous verse. At the same time, food is the core, and it's also core of the process given to us by Prabhupada. And it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam that we can offer something to an inferior person. That's the offering with compassion. That's like that's maybe more connected with the charity that mostly happens in this world. So some rich man can give some funds to charity to some organization that he favors. Yes, yes. And if it's done on the material platform, it's not pure compassion. It's mixed. It's mixed with the qualities of the material nature. Like I can try to gain control over the organization I'm giving my charity to, or I want to look good, so I give you some money only if you uh, as, if you show on your website and in your hall that it was I who gave you so much money. So the charity is mixed, as Prabhupada indicates here in the purport, that without becoming a devotee of the Lord, one cannot perfect one's human life. Because I could think, okay, like I engage in these charities, in these activities, in this offering, but unless I come to the pure platform, it will be always mixed, and those beats will grow, because I will gain, I will think that I will have a sense of like feeling good, that I'm such a good person when I'm giving something, but it will be just a praise of the body and not praise of the Lord. So it's always contaminated unless one practices, or one is guided by the bona fide spiritual master. And then one can give to a superior, because we discussed that I can give to an inferior, so I can give also to a superior out of respect, because we do not say that I'm giving Krishna this food because Krishna is so poor and he needs this food, either he will starve. We give the Supreme Personality of Godhead the food at least out of respect, and that the respect comes from the point, as Prabhupada is describing in the purport, that all the things that we eat are not made by us. We can maybe process it, but we cannot create it, because the food is either given by grains, by seeds, or it's the product of the sun, rain, soil. It's product of cows. Yes. So all these we can observe come from the nature, and more intelligent person asks, okay, where does the nature come from? And the answer is, it comes from the Lord. So the source is the Lord. So at least acknowledging that all those things, especially food, but all those things that we have here come from the Lord. And then of course we can practice to offer with love, and so many other feelings, and those and natural feelings come from the proper understanding of the relationship between the spirit soul and the Supreme Lord. Yes, yeah. In the last days and weeks, I was reading some books on how to get rich, basically, because I'm preparing an online course that will be like first steps of self-realization using the context of finance, wealth, and money. And many of those books recommend actually that one gives in charity, basically, some part of his income. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because for me, especially, it is very difficult to give money or give anything, basically, just in a charity. And I think you know that because at some formal initiation, someone said that I'm fully committing myself to be 100% giver. So I don't know, someone accidentally picked up the thing what's maybe the most challenging for me. And it's based on like fear and anxiety, it's like the misidentification with the body, that I will lose something if I give something. But here I am reading these books, and those books recommend, okay, you should give something to get rich. So I was like, that's interesting. Like I can read it from Prabhupada books, and the logic seems clear. So I give it back to Krishna because it comes from Krishna. But in those books, like I just want to get rich. So how come that I should give some money like that? And it seems that that if I just stay on the material plane, that one gets like this feeling that he is rich if he gives some money. There is some good feeling of being plentiful. Still, like without the connection with the Lord, is still like mental speculation. But still, yes. So if we engage in this process given by Prabhupada, we also automatically get those qualities, because by just giving, it seems that on the psychological level, I'm getting the sense that I have plenty. Yes. So that's my small. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like, and it's like I was thinking when I was going to school, like the middle grade school or the high school, thinking about what I will, which university to choose. I was like, oh, I want to study economics. So I was thinking, oh, that's just my free choice. Now I'm free, and I can choose whichever topic I want to study and whichever field I want to work on. So I felt free. At the same time, it's obvious from this perspective that as the anxiety for money was in me from the very young age, it wasn't my like free choice. I just was so absorbed in the money and finance that I felt like that's the most interesting field. And it might look like, oh, I've developed so many good qualities. I know so much stuff around that, but still underlying quality is fear. Like, I think it was last year I met with one of the best investors in the Czech Republic. So we met for lunch, and he talked about how, yeah, like how everyone should save some some money for the future. That people in the Czech Republic are not saving enough, basically. And I was like, okay. And I said to him, I don't think that one needs to save money to survive. I know many, or at least some, happy people who are fine even in their old age and don't have like pile of savings in their accounts. And he could not like understand that. Yeah, because it's often built on fear. It's not the real understanding. So is there anything more? Yes, Prabhupada describes here the process of offering sacrifice, offering foodstuffs. So if we want to offer a bit devotion, I already mentioned that we should offer the best because that's the example described in this verse, and we should offer the only foodstuff that is described in the Shastra, with fruits, flowers, leaves, liquids, vegetables, and offer them in a complete devotional service. So the devotion, the love, is the aspect that Krishna seeks the most. Yes, and then it will be sacrifice done in the full constitutional position of the spirit soul, and it's given to a proper person. It's given to the spiritual master. It's given to the brahmanas, and given to the Vaishnavas. Okay, I will read the text and translation, and then we can discuss more. Anam choru rasam tebyo datva bhagavat arpanam go viparartha sabha shura prane murdavi. Thereafter, they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs, first offered to the personality of Godhead, and offered their respectful obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas. Thank you for listening. And now is the space if you want to share something, ask anything, discuss, and like that.
Hare Krishna, Yogesvara Prabhu. Thank you for your class. Thank you for amusing part about charity. There's so many charity in the mode of ignorance and passion, even goodness. Charity out of fear, charity out of whatever. So many charity. And I didn't grow up with charity, and I didn't grow up with saving money either. you know, like in America, it's common, charities are common, and also saving money is so like everybody need to do it. And people are anxious when they're not capable of doing it. But I didn't grow up in that culture. So I can relate. At the beginning of your class, you spoke about people are not thinking of the perfection of human life or what is perfection. But, you know, I'm wondering that because it seems like if I speak with people, they will tell me perfection means you have a big house in the suburb. Perfection mean like you have a beautiful wife and children. Perfection means you have a cushiony, you know, bank account and a good health insurance. So, you know, if I were to, you know, like if I will challenge people that they don't know, you know, like they don't have a sense of, or asking themselves what's perfection, I believe that people will say, oh no, I know what perfection is.
Yes, nice. It's a nice point. Thank you. It seems like the consciousness of the spirit soul is there because it's natural for the spirit soul to seek perfection, right? And each and every one of us has some idea where the perfection is. It's like the same as the idea of like how to become happy, right? In so many activities, stuff, and relationships. Yes.
And then you started saying something about offering compassion, and I didn't follow where you went with that. If you
Okay, like compassion is the emotion when one offers something to an inferior person.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a poor man on the street, like I offer him something with compassion, because as an inferior person, the person cannot give me anything really. So that's the point of compassion. And then if I give to a superior one, so for example, God, then at least it should be done with respect. So like it's like we don't offer Krishna with compassion. At least it's not like the primary feeling behind that. So that was the point.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. There's like yagya. Yagya is offering sacrifice to a superior, but then there's dana or kripa or doya. That's kind of like to someone who's needy, right? So Srila Prabhupada often makes that distinction, and there in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that whether it's sacrifice, charity, compassion, they should never be given up. And I appreciated so many points of your class. One, you mentioned about charity. And so if one is giving charitably, if one is giving charity, then it symptomizes and cultivates an abundance mentality, right? Basic spiritual principle, things go from subtle to external. So if I'm like, oh, I don't have money to give to this cause, then it's scarcity. So I'm going to attract more scarcity. And just like that section, chapter 17 and 18 of Bhagavad Gita, it goes through about 19, 20 areas of life that are they're simply natural and unavoidable. Like it talks about happiness in the three modes and in the transcendental consciousness. We're all going to seek happiness. It's the nature. It talks about knowledge. We're all going to seek knowledge. We'll seek it in what's the stock market doing? Who won the playoffs? We'll seek knowledge in transcendental literature. We'll seek, so we're all going to seek knowledge, and we're all going to do austerity. It's just like, as a spiritual being in a human experience, we're all going to do austerity. The question is, are we going to do it in tamas, rajas, sattva, or shuddha sattva? And in those lists, there in the 17th chapter, there's charity, meaning it's a very it's unavoidable that we're going to want to give charity. We can try to stifle it, but we're going to want to give charity. And then again, the question is, we can do it in a way that's tamasic, rajasic, that entangles us further in bodily illusion, creates karma, vicious karma. We can give charity in goodness or pure goodness. And I like that point about, yeah, it shows abundance consciousness. I know, like, it's sort of like a sign of adulthood that, yeah, it's kind of like a sign of adulthood. Even a child guided by the parents. Oh yes, let me give to this good cause. Let me give to the animal shelter. Let me give to the homeless. It's a sign like, oh, I'm growing up and I'm doing things that adult people do. That I'm not just miserly like that, and I'm giving charity, and as yeah, and it's a sign of independence. It's a sign of abundance, and that attracts more abundance. So I appreciate that spiritual psychological principle that you shared.
Yes, thanks for that expansion on those various processes. Yeah, like, I wasn't taught even like the material, like psychological dynamic. You know, I was like, okay, if you want to, like, let's say, feel rich, then you just work. It's like it's like extremely external. Then I can come to a more subtle level, even though I will still stay on the material platform, and I can do this proper adult activities that will support the consciousness of independence, abundance. It's like more subtle, and then, of course, beyond that, I can connect with the spiritual platform to add the purpose behind those activities. So there is some reason why I'm actually doing this, why I'm giving this man and not that man. So yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Are there any more sharings, questions, inspirations? Okay, everyone seems fulfilled. That's nice. That's nice. So I will read the verse once more, and we will call it a class then. Thereafter, they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs, first offered to the personality of Godhead, and offered their respectful obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too.